Hello crafters and welcome. Michelle here. I have a fantastic summer wreath for you today. In today's crafting adventure, I'm going to show you step by step how to make this unique ice cream cone wreath. Now this wreath is absolutely beautiful and you can change out the florals depending on what you can find in your store. Let me show you how to make it. The first thing that you're going to need for the project is one of these party hats that you can pick up at Dollar Tree in the party section. And they open up pretty easy. They just have paper slits that slide in to keep them closed, so you'll want to open it up. This is going to be our pattern for our cone. Next thing is you want to remove as much of the tinsel here. So I've removed as much of the tinsel as I can. I tried to pull it off, but I didn't want to rip the hat. I'm also going to remove these two tabs. Okay, so this is the piece that we're going to be using. You're also going to need some kind of fabric to cover the hat. I found this burlap fabric at Walmart. This package is 46 inches at 2 yards. So I've opened up my fabric, I've laid down my hat, and now I'm tracing it out. And then once I have it traced out, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. And you need to leave about 1/2 inch of extra fabric all the way around. I have my piece cut out and I went and ironed it because it had a lot of wrinkles. And I noticed that when I placed it over the top, you can still kind of see those bright colors. So if you have a fabric that you can see through like that, just take your cone and roll it the opposite way. Hold it for a few minutes. And then we're going to put it on this side so that you can't see any of that color. And what I want to do is I want to wrap this so that my fabric comes over. So I have a nice clean edge all the way around. And I'm just going to hot glue it on. Just be careful because if you're working with fabric, the hot glue can come through. Just do a little bit at a time and slowly work your way around. Once I get this top section attached, I am going to turn it over and add some hot glue to the body. And then I'll turn it back over and continue to wrap all the edges. I have my piece covered. Next you want to take the sides, the straight sides, and fold them over by about 1 inch, 1/2 inch to 1 inch, and you want to do that all the way up so the sides stay straight. Okay, now we're going to cut a piece for the back because I want the back to be flat, but I want the front to be curved like a cone. Okay, so I'm going to place my piece down. I'm going to mark the bottom here so I know where the center is. And then I'm going to come up and let's see, I think I'm going to go about this far. You're just kind of estimating how wide you want the front portion. So I'm going to adjustment about there. And then from each corner, I'm going to draw a line down to the point where the center was. let's see. So mine is about 7 inches apart. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. This piece is going to be in the back so it lays nice and flat against your front door. I have my piece cut. And now on this little flap that I folded, I'm going to glue it down with some hot glue. Take your time and make sure you get that nice and secure. If you don't, it will fall apart on you. So I have my first side glued down, and now I'm just kind of playing with it and adjusting it to see exactly what shape I want for my ice cream cone. So I originally wanted it pretty wide, but I think I'm going to make it a little bit smaller and pull that in a little bit more. I like that. So now I'm going to get this part glued down. My cone is done and ready to go. I got it nicely secured on the back. Now, if this bothers you that you can see the white piece, cut another piece of your fabric and cover the back. So I really like that. I think that's going to be perfect for our cone. So I have one of these cones that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. This is, let's see, 6.9 inches by 2.9 inches. This is just going to help us keep our shape. So I'm just going to push it down as much as I can to the bottom, and then I'm going to glue it to the backing. That's going to help the cone keep its shape, and it's also going to help when we start adding our florals. Now for our ice cream part, I'm going to be using some carnations. I picked out 2 colors. I have the pristine white, and then this is their pink. They also have kind of an orange sherbet color and red. You will need several stems. If you can't find carnations at Dollar Tree, you can also use hydrangeas, or possibly even roses would work for this project. Now, to prepare your stems, you need to remove all of the greenery. So I just kind of pull off my blooms. They come off really easy if you're using Dollar Tree. Then pull off all of your leaves. And with your stem here, you have one that is very long, you have 3 that are the next length, and then 3 that are short. You want to place it down, you want to take that long one, you want to pull it to the center in the back. Then you want to take the second length and you put one on either side of the one in the back, and then the third one right in front of the long one. Then you have 3 short ones. Again, put one in front of each of the ones on the side, and the shortest one right in the middle. Okay? So, is that better? So I have a short, a medium, and a long in the center, and then on either side I have a short and a medium. So that's how you want to fan out your stem. And then you can put your florals back on, and as you put your florals back on, once you get the head on, go right below the head, and you want to slightly bend that forward, and you want to do that to each bloom as you add it back. And then you will be bringing them in a little bit is you want them close to each other. But doesn't that look like the fourth of a ball? And that's what you're looking for, so we're going to be making a ball. So you need to, for each ice cream scoop in each color, you're going to need a minimum of 5 stems. And you want to fluff them all out like this. I have 5 stems of white carnations. I've removed all of the greenery, spread them out, and bent all the heads forward. You're also going to need some zip ties. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take 2 of them and you push them side by side. You want the length of the stems to stay the same. Then flip it over, and on the back you want to add 2 more side by side. So all the flat sides come together. Now as you can see, that gives you a nice round bunch, so it looks like a scoop. But in the front here, what's going to be the front, I'm going to add 1 more, and I'm going to drop it down just a little bit. So as you can see, that's about 2 inches down. And now I'm going to take all of these and zip tie them together. I'm going to put a couple on here to make sure that they all stay together. And then I'm going to cut this off because it's too long to put it inside the cone. Okay, and then just kind of play with your blooms. Reposition them if you need to. Make sure the taller ones are in the back and that you're getting a kind of round shape. That's what you're aiming for. It doesn't have to be perfect. The ones in the front, you want to pull those blooms down a little bit. Okay, so I have a nice round bunch. So I have 2 here in the white, and now I'm going to make, I think I'm only going to need 1 in the pink. I'm going to try that first. So now I'm going to make 1 in pink, and I'm going to make it the same way. I have my pink and my 2 white. Look at how cute that looks. Very cute. Now here on my pink, because it's going to be on the top, I stuck a dowel rod in, zip tied it in, and then added hot glue to make sure it didn't slide, because this is going to be the highest one, and then these are going to come down below it. I needed that extra length. Now that we have our ice cream scoops, let's work a little bit more on the cone. Here on the back I did add a loop. I'm hoping this will be sufficient to hang it. If it isn't, I have another idea for hanging this. Now inside around my styrofoam cone, I added 2 plastic bags. That's just to make sure that the shape is nice and firm on the outside, because if this does go outside on someone's door and it gets moist, because the hat is only made of paper, it may change the shape. This way it'll help hold that form for you. And then here on the top I'm going to add another piece of floral foam. I did pick this up at Dollar Tree, but it's not something that I see regularly in the store. This is 1.5 inches by 5.5 by 5.5 inches. It's just Craft Artisans floral foam. So I want to glue the flat side on the back. So I do need to do a little bit of trimming around the edges here. And I like to use my paint scraper. This works really well. Just kind of push straight down. It goes through and it gives you a pretty clean cut. So just keep working on it. Take a little bit off at a time until you can get it to fit in. Now I worked on my piece. I got it nice and round, and I also beveled it, and now it fits nice and snug inside my cone. So I'm just going to hot glue it into place now. So I've started to add my little ice cream scoops. I have my first one in, and you need to be careful when you're adding these because it's such a large hole that you have to make. So I'm happy with that placement. I played with the florals a little bit. As you put it in, they'll scrunch together, so you will need to readjust them a little bit. And now I'm going to place my second one, and I want that one on the opposite side, and I'm going to put it back just a little bit. And then I just kind of twist it. So that tells me approximately how wide. Now I'm going to use a dowel rod to push through. As you can see. Now I'll have a much easier time to get this in, and it'll still be snug because you have the zip ties on there. And you want to make sure that that extra one that you put in the front faces forward. Okay, then you need to go back and readjust your florals. Pull them down. I do have one or two extra stems here of the white in case I need to fill in around the base here, which I may need to do. Okay, so I'll play with that, but let's get our third one in. And now you can understand why I added the extra dowel rod. And I want this one in the back, a little off to the side. That looks really cute. Okay, so I'm just going to play with this for a little while, readjust my florals until I get the shape. I'm looking for kind of 2 scoops and then 1 large scoop at the top. And if I need to, I do have 1 or 2 extra stems of the pink and the white if I need to fill in anywhere. So I have my 3 ice cream scoops in, and I'm happy with that. I don't think I'm going to add another one. I am going to do some further adjusting and fill in a little bit with some florals, but before I do that, I want to add a bow, and I want to put it right in the front here. Okay, let's work on our bow now. I did grab 2 ribbon, both are 2.5 inches at 10 yards. I grabbed both of these from craftoutlet.com. They're both made by Really Good Ribbon. I absolutely love that ribbon. We have a faux burlap and this beautiful ice cream and cupcake ribbon. I love all those bright colors. They have several different types of ice cream cones on there. I thought this was perfectly fitting for the wreath. I'm going to start with the ice cream. I'm going to measure my tails here at 8 inches, pinch and twist. Now with your tails, the nice side of your ribbon should be facing up, but once you come through the dowel rods, you need to twist so that the nice side of the ribbon is facing down. And I'm going to be making my loops at 4 inches. And I'm going to do 2 loops on either side at 4 inches. And now with this really pretty pink ribbon, I'm going to do the same thing, measure my tails at 8 inches and do 2 loops on either side at 4 inches. If you're enjoying today's content, make sure to subscribe. And when the notification bell pops up, if you hit that too, YouTube will let you know every time I upload new content. And I do upload new content to my channel every week. Now I'm going to go back to my ice cream ribbon. And then this time I'm only going to measure my tail at 6 inches. And again, I'm going to make one loop on either side at 4 inches. Okay, I have one loop on either side, but instead of doing my tail, I want to add one more loop. This is going to be my center loop. And I'm going to measure that at 4 inches as well. I want my bow to be more round. And then to get back to the other side, I'm going to come through that small dowel rod and the large dowel rod in the front. Now this just helps me keep that extra piece of ribbon I need on this side for my center loop. And now I can measure out my tail at 6 inches. I have a full-length pipe cleaner. Lift up your ribbon on one side, slide it all the way down to your next to your dowel rods. I like to lift it up till it's nice and even. Push down my ribbon so it's snug. Pinch and lift out. Oop, I missed my center loop. That's why it's important. You got to get that piece from your center loop over. Pull nice and tight, pull to the back. I always like to hold mine right in the center as I fluff out. So open up and spread out all your loops and pull down your tails. If you need to adjust your loops, go all the way down to where they come out and do your adjusting there. If you need to twist it, open it up, however. For your convenience, in the description box below is a detailed list of all the tools and materials used in today's project. This list will not only tell you how much you're going to need, it will also let you know where I purchased the materials. And that's approximately what your bow should look like. Now I want to leave my ends the length that they are. I want some longer tails on this, but I am going to go back and dovetail. And I just fold in half. I don't like to do too strong of a dovetail, just about a 1/2 inch. And if you have any issues like you see on the end that it's unraveling, you just want to take a lighter and just lightly go over those edges. That will seal them so that they do not fray. So there's your bow. I will do my final adjusting once I get it on. Now to attach this easily to the wreath, I'm going to be adding a dowel rod, and I'm going to attach it here to the pipe cleaners. So first I'm just going to wrap the pipe cleaners around the dowel rod. And now I'm going to go in with hot glue and glue it to the dowel rod. Now you need to leave just a little space there at the top so that you can adjust the angle of your bow once you get it into your wreath. You want to let that glue fully set up. And then I'm going to trim this as well. That's a little too long. I only needed a couple inches. I went in and adjusted my florals, and I did add some on both sides here. It had a large opening on the bottom, and I wanted to fill that in. You want to make sure that when you're doing a wreath like this that's more three-dimensional, that you pay attention to the sides. If anybody walks up on the side, you don't want big holes. So it took an additional stem of carnations on either side of white. So I used a total of 5 to 6 stems of the pink, and I used a dozen stems of the white. Now I'm really happy with that. I think it looks adorable. So we're going to add our bow now. And I want to place my bow in the front right here, kind of to help separate those two ice cream scoops. And I'm just going to take my dowel rod here and stick it into the floral foam and then push it all the way down. Go in and adjust. Oh, that looks absolutely adorable, but we're not quite done yet. Now, to put a cherry on top of my ice cream cone, I'm going to be using one of these. It is a fruit pick that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. These are actually little apples. They come in red or green. I figured the red would be easier to cover with red, so I went with that. I have some apple barrel cardinal crimson here on my palette. Depending on your paint and what color you start with, you may need to do more than one coat. My cherry on top is nice and dry, and I put it on a 12-inch dowel rod. And this is how I'm going to be attaching it. I want it to sit right up on top. So I want to feed it in. Turn this over. And I want to feed it down inside the stem. And then I'm going to attach it to the stem. Just like that. So I need to decide exactly how high I want it and what position. And then I'm initially going to zip tie. That'll allow me to do a little bit more adjusting, and then I will hot glue it in place. And as you can see, I did decide to go ahead and cover the back. The mess was bothering me, and I did try out the hanger, and it hangs just fine. Okay, so I'm just going to play with this a little bit. I'm going to readjust my flowers around it, and then I'll come back and show you the finished product. And here you go. We are all done. I think it looks absolutely adorable. I love the little cherry on top. I think it was the perfect final addition for my ice cream cone wreath. Now, if you can't find the carnations, remember you can use any floral that has a large round head. Now, when choosing your flowers, each scoop takes about 5 of the carnations, and then I used one more stem on either side to fill in the sides. And then my pink scoop only took 5 stems. So depending on what florals you're using, if you can't find all white, maybe you'll do 3 different colors. They also have a really pretty kind of sherbet color carnation. You could probably also use roses or hydrangeas. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really enjoyed pulling this wreath together, something different and unique. If you're looking for more summer inspiration, you're going to want to check out my playlist. You can click into it right here. Thanks so much for stopping by. It's always a pleasure to see you. If you enjoyed today's tutorial and would like to see more, make sure to hit the like button and leave me a comment. And it lets me know which videos you're most interested in. Thanks so much for stopping by. It's always a pleasure to see you. You have a great day. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.